What's up, everybody? My name is Liz, and welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I've posted a video on this channel, and it's good to be back. And thank you for joining me today. We're going to be talking about why you need to put yourself first and how to get started on that. A little bit of background: I'm one of those people who are guilty of putting everybody in front of me, because deep down inside, I just always felt that I could handle the struggles and they couldn't. That is not a rational way of doing it, but that was sort of my approach to life. I came to a point where I was depressed. I was just miserable because I kind of felt like whatever I was putting out, I wasn't getting the same return back. I remember talking to a good friend one day, just telling her everything that I needed to do. I was caring for my family, and I usually had no money to even do things for myself. And then she asked me, she was like, "What about you, Liz? What do you do? Like, how do you take care of yourself? What about the things that you want?" And I looked at her surprised, like, "What do you mean? This is what you do?" And she literally was the first person to open up my eyes and make me realize that I needed to put myself in the equation when it came to taking care of others. So since then, I came to a point where I had to drop everybody and just really focus on myself. It was at that time when I saw things start moving ahead in my life. Now, I know it's not easy to let go of the habits that you've had from the past, where you're always thinking about others, putting others first, making sure that everyone is taken care of. I know it's not an easy ask, but believe me, it'll be the best thing you would ever do for yourself if you embark on that journey. It is not selfish to think about yourself, to care about yourself, to put some money, time, and effort into elevating your life. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There are some people who will tell you that you're being selfish. Usually, these are the kind of people who spend like so much time taking and taking and taking away from you and never really giving you much back. So if you're one of those people who spend most of their lives putting others first, never caring about what's important to you and caring about yourself, I'm giving you permission to stop. Just stop. Stop everything. Okay? If you have kids, I know some people are parents and some people are caring for their families and all that stuff. Trust me, you will be way better if you put more effort into caring for yourself. If you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes just so that I can remember things that I wrote down. Now, have you ever wondered why everybody is born alone and they die alone? Even in multiple deaths with the same parent, usually the kids are born minutes apart. I believe the main reason for this is that everyone is on their own journey from the time you enter into this life to the time you exit. Babies somehow got this figured out. If you've ever been around a baby, you will notice all they care about is their comfort and what they need in that particular moment. Even when they start walking, if there are two babies of the same age, one starts walking, one doesn't, you don't see the one who walks first trying to teach the other one how to walk. Why is that? I think when we're babies, we truly understand that we are on a personal journey. But somehow, as life goes, we grow up, the doctrines kick in. Honestly, taking care of others and neglecting yourself is the biggest disservice you could ever do, not only to yourself, but to those who you're giving yourself to. What typically happens is that you give and you give and you give, you get to the point where you're miserable, you're depressed, you are feeling inadequate because all your efforts, most of the time, they don't yield the best possible results that you're looking for. How do you give pure unconditional love to others when you've never learned to love yourself? How do you know that what the world is giving you is enough when you feel inadequate inside? For the most part, what we do is we're trying to pass. We give and give and give and hope to God that somehow our acts of kindness will be repaid. Unfortunately, most of the time, there really isn't much reward from that. I find that we go through life in different phases. From childhood, you're listening to your parents and they're telling you what to do, and you're doing everything that you can to make sure that your parents are happy. You move into adulthood where you get into relationships and whatever the case might be for you, your work. By the time you get to your midlife, most of the time, people are tired. You're just tired because you've been at this for a long time and you're really not seeing the results that you're hoping for. So what ends up happening is that for those who are married, that's when they're having like divorces. That's when most people are going through midlife crises. All those kind of things. People have diseases, high blood pressure, diabetes, you name it. They probably got one of those things. That all comes from not taking good care of yourself. I would like you to consider this. If you're one of those people who's got so many obligations and so many things to do, I want you to think about this. What would happen to those people in your life that you feel obligated to if you were to exit this life today? What do you think would happen to them? From what I've noticed in my experience, life goes on. They tend to figure it out and just live life as per usual. I'm saying this to remind you that it's okay for you to let the obligations go and really focus on yourself. I've seen so many of my friends walk around with nothing because they've given everything to their kids. Be in jobs that they're not happy at because every penny that comes in goes into their family. And then you ask them, like you hear them talking about, when I was a kid, I wanted to be to do this when I grew up. I wanted to do this type of job, this type of career. But I never got around to doing that because family came in and I had responsibilities. What would life have been like if you chose to pursue your desires? If you chose to put yourself first and do the things that you feel like you need to get to where you want to get to your destination? What kind of life would you have right now? I think it's something really we all need to consider when we look at our lives. Now, I'm not saying be selfish and be horrible to people. No, I'm just saying that every once in a while, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say I don't have, especially when it comes to money. And this is specifically directed to my diaspora family who are here, who are going through the same struggles that I've experienced as well. It's okay to say that you don't have money when somebody from back home calls and say, hey, can you send me money for this, that, and the other? You don't have to feel guilty about that. Even if you got money in your bank account, it's money to do other things. You got an agenda for your life. Everybody has a responsibility to themselves, whether they're a child, whether they're an adult. We all have a responsibility to take care of ourselves. It is easier to really put all your energy into others because, to be honest, part of us, we really just don't want to look inside at what we're doing, because to face that will bring out all the emotions that come with that. Emotions like failure, emotions like discouragement, and just being dejected because you don't even know where to start. One of the toughest jobs you will ever have in this life is taking care of yourself. It's hard, trust me. I know. I wish there was somebody to take care of me. I have to do this every day. And sometimes I just take a step back and I look at myself and I'm like, girl, you're a lot. Now imagine if it's tough to take care of yourself, imagine taking care of somebody else, being their everything. That is too big a burden to carry, and it was never meant for you to carry. I hope that I can inspire you to start taking the first steps into moving forward where you're number one in your life and everybody else gotta wait in line to talk with you. Now, how do you get started in this journey? You've never taken care of yourself, you don't know how to get started. I have 2 suggestions for you. Number 1, I want you to sit down, look at your life, ask yourself, what does your ideal life look like? What exactly is it that you want out of life? Be able to describe it in as much detail as possible. What I find is that most people, they can give you like a one-word answer. They can say like, I want to be happy. And then I can say, okay, what does happiness look like to you? Most of the times, they can't even define it. I have since learned that when you cannot define the very thing that you desire, it is hard for it to come into fruition in your life. You really have to paint a picture and put words to these things that you're trying to bring about in your life. So that's the number 1 thing. Number 2, you want to take an hour every day for yourself. That hour is for you and you alone. In that hour, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can either go walking in nature, you can meditate, you can go read a book, anything that takes you out of your everyday routine, where you can now put yourself in a place where you can hear yourself think and the thoughts from your heart can flow out to the surface. What happens is that with just daily life, always on the go, most of the time, we don't even hear what our heart is telling us to do. If you get into this practice of taking an hour every day, whether you choose to exercise or whatever it is that you do to just get away from your everyday, you will notice that you will start hearing your heart speaking to you, telling you what it desires, giving you directions. It takes time, but it's well worth it. If you do that every day, by the time the year ends, you're gonna notice such a great shift in your life. And also, don't be surprised that once you start putting yourself first, you're gonna lose some people in your life. Some people might not like this new person that you're becoming. But you know what? That's okay. Because those who are meant to be there in your life are always gonna be there. You can never chase anybody away. The only people who leave you are the ones who are not serving you in your life anymore. So I hope this helps you in your new journey of putting yourself first. If you have any questions, put them in the comment below. If you like the video, please share and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a lovely day.